You can start.
This is a good way to start, just like this. My name is MysterE and this is Meghan. To give you a little bit of backstory, we met about 4 months ago, and within the first month we said something about, wow, we ought to do a podcast called We Don't Know. And it became this shared vision. It gave our love and attraction a purpose. And I invited Meghan to use the process of aligning with the natural cycles of life, the lunar cycle in particular, in the way that we relate. And the next new moon was to put it into a course. So that's what we're here to introduce to you today.
From the beginning, we set the intentions of aligning ourselves with the alignment that's going on in the natural world. As far as what is the purpose of our connection? What is the purpose of, even if you're single, what's the purpose of you wanting to date? Are you aware of what you have to give? Are you aware of what you want to receive? Because the goal is going to determine the outcome. And that's what the new moon process really allows us to do. But then the other phases of the moon help facilitate that process. And we've been experimenting on each other, and it's been going remarkably well.
And you also spoke a little bit about, what are we moving out of? What have you experienced? What have we all experienced? What is the human experience about dating and love, and how can we use this to grow into something new?
If you are getting sick of the patterns you've been stuck in, if you're getting sick of the stagnancy you're experiencing in your relationship, if you're feeling sick of the unworthiness you're feeling while you're swiping through on Tinder and getting ghosted for the 12th time, like, we're wanting to come up and to share and extend and to learn about a new process that we know through our own experience will help to facilitate growth for you.
And this is an introduction to a new way of learning, a new way of life, and a new way of relating, primarily to yourself. Primarily what happens here is that we can use the lunar cycle to become individually empowered in ourselves, to really become masters of our own experience, right? And as we do that, attract someone, maybe someone new, maybe someone you're already in a connection with, into a new experience of love and of growth and of celebration. And so many of us are working to stay above the fray, so to speak. The whole world is changing around us. A lot of us are having to really look at ourselves right now. And so it can be fun, Meghan.
That's the point. That's the point. It does need to be fun. And the lunar cycle really helps us to give acceptance and love and compassion to the way that energy moves individually, and then how it impacts the union, how it impacts our ability to relate to one another.
Amazing. And there's so many pieces to this, and what we're really asking people to do, because the first month that Meghan went through it a couple of months ago, for her, it was all new, and it was really getting to know the very simplistic sort of parts to each phase of the lunar cycle. And then as we went through the second time, you got to learn more, right? And we got to experience more. We got more data. We had more experience.
Witnessed patterns. All the good stuff.
Right. And so, and then now we're going into our third full lunar cycle together. And so we're introducing you to something. We're asking you to stay with it in a very simplistic basis.
We're talking about also radical responsibility for our life and for our connection. Radical responsibility for what we're looking to create. And each of us individually having to take ownership for that within our partnership.
So this program, it might say lunar relating, but it could easily say how to make money, or how to find your purpose, or how to be the most beautiful person you possibly could, or how to become compassionate, or how to learn to love yourself, which really is where we've got to start, Meghan.
Yeah, and I think we can apply it to so many facets, but part of our transparency is being willing to share the experience we're choosing to give ourselves through using the lunar cycle in this specific way, and then to translate that as simply as possible by having a more narrowed focus currently, but who knows where it's going to grow or where it's going to go.
Right.
And so even though we might be using this as a focus, the idea is that, even for example, if we utilize this way of communication, this way of transparency with each other, the goal is that it translates to our colleagues, that it translates to our family, that it translates to our friendships, that it extends out, that what we're doing here together and what you might be embarking on either individually or with someone specifically is meant to translate, because you give yourself the experience of how it feels to show up in this different way, and then we recognize its relevance everywhere else.
Yeah. And what a beautiful vision to have. Love myself, love the other, and let our love bring
Extend.
more love.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, very simple.